12:40 a.m. WSBC. Welcome back, folks, to another week of the Hooley Radio Hour. This show is presented to you by Fox's Pizza. Hot, delicious, sizzling, thin, tavern-cut Southside pizza only in Orland Park and Mokina. Specifically, those locations. Visit them. Tell them that you're friends of the show.
Yeah.
Flood Brothers Disposal. Even in the ice storms that are happening here in Chicago, the great floods are out keeping us clean. Taking out the garbage and doing it in a timely and an efficient and professional manner always. The Flood Brothers, the finest in the game. Madden Funds, Lucky Days, $550,000.
600,000.
Ooh, all right, so it rolled. I know that if I win, I'm calling Mike or Dan Madden.
Me too.
See if they can help me out and make that money grow. My name's Paddy Houlihan. I'll be your host all hour. Joining me as always,
What's happening?
twin brother Billy. Billy, hi.
How are you?
Welcome back to another week of the show. Valentine's Day is coming up. We got St. Patrick's Day season on the rise.
Yep.
Are you feeling any of the stressors now, especially being in the booze business?
Yes.
You are?
Oh, yeah, it's begun.
It's begun. So, like, usually at the beginning of the year, it kind of dies down because of the new year. And then in February season, all the
I'd
establishments
say
start.
the last week of January, you start talking about it. Even second week of January, you're like planning it and then you're putting it in place. It's a lot.
I read on the internet yesterday that St. Patrick's Day brings in almost $6 billion a year annually on the day alone.
Wow.
That's how big that market is. All of a sudden, the bells start going off.
Holy cow.
And I was thinking about how do we inject AI and robots into St. Patrick's Day and build something amazing, you know, and then have a tech company in Dublin. I think the next housekeepers, you know, they've been talking about using AI, that they're saying eventually they can have humanoid robots that are like, you know, in your home. We're not far off from this, you know.
Here we go. We're always talking about tech and robots on this show.
It dominates my brain.
Yeah.
It really does. It's all I read because that's what
Kill the robot, man.
Everybody is constantly talking about robots and AI. You can't evade it. And that happened in the span of like 2 years. Like all of a sudden, it's just like everything's AI. Like the investment world, everybody wants to talk about AI. Anyway,
Yeah.
I was thinking of a robot called Brendan. It's an Irish robot.
Okay. Brendan the Irish robot.
Brendan the Irish robot. He's like, he's good at home renovation.
Carpentry.
He can say mass. He can turn into Father Brendan.
Yep. Okay.
He has different, like, you can program it
He
to
can
do
hear
all-
confessions.
I'm sure we could put that in. I don't know if the Catholic Church would sanction Brendan. I mean, the Catholic Church is running out of priests. Maybe if they could just AI feed these robots, they could turn robots into Catholic AI robot Catholic priest.
That is so un-Catholic. I can't even think of it. Like the morality behind that is just insane.
It is insane, but you gotta, you know, it's evolve or die. That's the society we live in now, you know?
Yeah.
But you could have Brendan the robot could be a Catholic priest or
Or a carpenter.
Or he can be
What about
all of it.
A bartender?
He could be a bartender. Like, hey, we're having a family party. Brendan, tonight.
A comedian?
I don't know how you. Yeah, I suppose you could program it to tell jokes. That's what Mike. Shout out to Mike Sarkowski, producer here. Before the program, he asked me. He goes, we were talking about AI and robots as always, and
Shocking.
yeah. Well, the Brendan
It
robot
wasn't hair
gun-
loss. It wasn't cigarettes. We just decided to talk about robots.
Yeah. He said, would you be mad if there was a robot out that all of a sudden was funnier than you?
Yeah.
You know, especially if, like, that's got to be in the entertainment world. I mean, they're already talking about integrating like AI into the movies, you know, and performances with, you know, computer generated imagery and all that stuff.
Sure.
This Brendan robot idea is very feasible.
Yeah.
Where do you give him
What does he wear? Or it's just is he like? I mean, I'm trying to figure this out. Like,
what does he wear?
yeah.
He just wears a cap and a shirt. He has a shirt that says Brendan on it.
Okay.
So everybody knows what to call it. Because it doesn't, like, he kind of looks half human.
Well, this was like essentially what comedian Connor O'Malley was talking about with Ken.
Oh, yeah. With in his stand-up special and Stand-Up Solutions, he does talk about Ken. Ken's an AI stand-up comic.
So he's doing it, you know?
Well, I'm just thinking with a $7 billion market, the diaspora's big. There's going to be, if only like 10% of the diaspora had some Brendans.
There's room for Kens and Brendans.
Who programs it? the Collison brothers from Stripe. You know,
Sure.
it
Give
takes
it that
payment.
Irish feed on it.
Yeah, spin it in there. No, Brendan the robot. Yeah, he can play the bow rod. He can do all kinds. Like he does.
He could sing old Irish rebel songs.
He sings. He can sound like Ronnie Drew and at the top of bottom. Snap of your fingers. He's not very good at sex though. Unfortunately.
No, well, yeah. He's supposed to be Irish, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know.
The Irish aren't known for being having that reputation.
Oh,
I don't know. Like,
unfortunately.
that's where when we think about the moral curve of like what's acceptable and what's not in products,
Right.
Like how does Brendan's not if you market any robot as a robot that is designed to have relations with, like it diminishes.
sex bot?
Yeah, it diminishes. It goes down.
Right.
Like-
I mean, it's not as intelligent anymore?
I'm wondering if like now this is going real weird now, dude. It's getting real deep.
Yeah.
The humanoids are going to be unavoidable. You're going to start seeing them, right?
Oh, right, like human robots?
Yeah. And they're taskmasters.
Droids, I guess, is what we would call them, right?
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
taskmasters and they do all kinds of other, and eventually they're going to get smarter and smarter and smarter. I see Mike writing a note. But I was saying that.
Yeah, please. Also,
Yeah.
it's going to be built into the, I guess, the whole political arena, and the, I guess, what would they call this?
Robot rights.
Yeah, the
Robot
rights. Yeah,
they
robot
have their own
rights.
party
Yeah,
now?
you can't shame robot sex workers.
Yeah.
You
can't shame.
Yeah.
But is there a difference where a robot identifies itself as a sex robot versus a housemaid robot? Does that make sense?
Right. So like it's like, no, wait, don't get this confused. I didn't have sex with your neighbor.
When you're pitching the idea of Brendan, the Irish robot servant, right?
Irish robot servant? Because he can be a comedian. He can be a dancer. Can he Irish dance?
You can buy a Brendan at the Irish import store. They're $70,000.
Okay.
They have them on display, like he
Right.
greets you at the door. And then there's the girl version is Brendina, which is not really an Irish name, but it's just
the Brendan
it's
and the
Brendan and
Brendina.
Brendina. We're just keeping it that way.
Okay.
And Brendan calls her Dina for short. Dina.
Okay.
But what I was getting at is that, of course, I think that when you design those things, that if someone wants to have relations with it in some way, they can.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
It's like Apple being like, yeah, we make iPhones. And it's like, are 75% of America going to be looking at dirty pictures and porn on that phone? No. It's about evolving society. I give it to them anyway. But can I do that with your phone? Yeah. Give it to me. I mean, but if they
so
market
you can
it
have
that way,
sex with your robot is what you're saying.
I'm saying that everyone's going to have to might do that.
Oh, this is real sci-fi, insane, weird now. Yeah.
Get the script out.
Yeah.
Fade in. A factory in Dublin. You know?
Starts off with like a factory worker, like just a blue collar guy, and he's having sex with a Brendina. That's the opening scene.
You no, dude. Why does he have to do it right in the opening? You're telling me I went dark. You're like, the inciting incident is the creator guy humping Brendina in a factory.
Well, you don't know that Brendina's
Like,
a
what,
robot in the scene. It's just the beginning. It's just the opening scene of the movie.
We're not the first people to think like Pinocchio. Like these tales have been around forever.
The sex puppet.
Yeah.
Who are they kidding?
Sure. Why that?
Pinocchio is a fairy tale that evolved from a very wicked, weird thought by some,
Right.
weird dude somewhere.
Yeah.
And he was like, what about a wooden person, that's got a nose. When it lies, its nose gets big. And I don't know. And there's a master that builds him,
Sure.
It's the same idea of Brendan. Let's
Right.
take the Pinocchio story and adapt it into Brendan the Irish robot.
Okay.
And it's a folklore story. It's like we tell the whole entire Pinocchio story, except it's about this guy creating an AI robot that's Irish named Brendan.
Okay. Who directs the movie?
Mark O'Connor. We'll get our friend Mark O'Connor.
Sure,
to do it. I'm going
okay.
to pitch Mark O'Connor this week. I'm going to say, hey, Mark, I know that you usually make gangster pictures. right? I've written an AI movie about a robot named Brendan, and it's completely based on the Pinocchio story.
Except for the first scene.
Except for the first scene, which is
in a factory in
it's
Dublin.
in a factory in Dublin. We're
The
working it
guy
out.
is having sex with Brandina.
And there's a guy having sex with a female version of the robot we feature throughout the film. It's a weird dream that the actual robot has later on in the movie. But the inciting incident is, the guy's humping a robot. What do you think? We'll put like some Tangerine Dream type music under it, like the beginning of Thief.
Right.
Like, what's happening in here? You know?
I thought maybe we'd make it more like T2.
Maybe.
You know. I mean, you could pitch this to James Cameron might be interested in something like this.
Absolutely. I was reading on, about
Who did Transformers?
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay might be interested in something like this.
Right. He'd be like, can we make Brendan run like 1,000 miles an hour? I'm like, yeah, he's running down the street. People are driving their car like, look, it's Brendan. You know? It's Brendan the Irish
Yeah,
robot.
but what if there's like 50 Brendans?
They're probably
like an army. That's scary. If there were like 50 Brendans that all
50
could like run like 1,000 miles an hour.
You just came up
Like
with the title.
jets.
You just came up with the title for the second film. 50 Brendans.
Sure.
Why don't we just call the movie 50 Brendans? Like there's 50 of them. I'll tell you what, if you're out this weekend out in Mokina or Norland Park and you stop by Fox's Pizza,
Right.
ask them if they've ever heard of Brendan the Irish robot.
Sure.
And if they have, ask him if he likes Fox's Pizza as much as me.
Yep.
This show's presented by More Hooley's Hooley at the break. It's Robbie Robertson. Welcome back to the Hooley's Hooley.
Hey.
Second half of the program. Brendan the robot. That's what we were talking about before the break.
Yep.
Trying to come up with some innovative St. Patrick's Day products.
It's not for another month and a half.
No.
No.
But that's kind of, this week I started, maybe it's because I just was out more this week, but I started to notice all the Valentine's Day stuff, and I completely forgot about Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day hasn't mattered to me in 10 years, maybe. Mm-hmm. No, I don't know. How long have I been separated?
It hasn't been that long.
No.
Seems like 10 years.
Yeah, it does. But that was the last time. So like now it comes and I'm like, what? Oh, now it's just like a day where I have to go buy Valentine's heart and hearts for the kids to put in their bags at school.
Yeah, but your daughter's in high school. They're not doing that anymore, are they?
No, high school kids. Well, they actually the high school kids. No, they don't do that. They make signs and then put them on Instagram.
Right.
Will you be my Valentine? And then post it for everybody to see.
Love you forever.
Yeah. Really? Do that again for me.
No.
You say I love you forever. Teenager, like I love you forever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like bangs, this hairstyle that all the dudes are wearing.
No, they all have the broccoli cut.
Yeah.
Yep. You're just jealous that you can't have a broccoli cut.
Would I have a broccoli cut if I could have one?
Does Brendan the robot have a broccoli cut?
Yeah, we'll give him a broccoli cut.
Yeah, he's got a. How old is Brendan? Well, he's got a broccoli cut, so he's anywhere between
Right, so he appeals to
17 and 40.
So if you're a sexual deviant,
oh no, come on, dude, we're not going there again. You're tanking my tech startup idea.
Oh, okay.
You're marketing towards sexual. That's not Apple never did that.
That's later down the line, right?
No,
Maybe we'll get to that topic in 50 Brendans.
Oh yeah, okay, fair enough.
Like what do we call in the first one?
That's just called Brendan.
Okay, right. So in Brendan, we just address how did Brendan come to be, and
Yeah.
maybe the opening scene in Brendan where he's having where the guy's having sex with a Brendina.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that is just a scene that's actually takes place in 50 Brendans, and it's it just refers back to that somehow. But it's you got to see when you get done seeing
it's
the
a
evolution.
flash forward.
It's a flash forward.
Yeah. Okay.
It just gets people on a. They're like, yes!
Yeah.
I can't wait to see 50 Brendans.
They've never done that in a movie where they do where they open the scene from part 2 that doesn't exist yet.
Back to the
just
Future,
assuming
dude. Did they do
automatically
that?
that there's going to be a part 2. They should what Gall filmmaker would have to just do that That's like something David Lynch would do. Like, oh, that actually is not going to make sense till you see my like fourth movie from now. But I don't think filmmakers have had the gall to do that. Like they've never,
Yeah,
just to think like no, just to have the gumption for yourself to be like, especially if you're like an indie filmmaker, to go that far, to put a scene in the beginning of the movie that makes no sense to anything else, to very little sense to anything else related to it that happens the next 90 minutes afterwards.
Yeah.
And then the movie closes. People kind of forget about the first scene. And then some critics like, I don't understand the first scene. And then the filmmaker says, oh, that's
I didn't understand. And nobody knows that Brandina is a robot either. Because I don't, do we just address in Brendan?
You're hung up on this Brandina character. Now, what if Brandina? What are we going to do about Brandina?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm going to ask Johnny Dorito.
Right.
What do you mean it's played by a robot? I can't employ any of my old actors on this? No C-lists?
Right.
No actors no more.
Right. Who are the actors that actually play the robot? That'd be fun.
Oh, a robot plays Brendan.
No, we don't want it.
Oh,
we want it to be like we don't want the robot to have anything to do in our industry as artists. Right? They can't infiltrate it. We can play a robot.
You want to make a movie about an AI robot, but there will be no AI integrated into this film.
That's correct.
Oh, well, that's ethical. I guess. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Not if we're going to try to make any product with Brendan or sell them.
That's true.
Which is my idea. This is about brand placement, bro.
Right.
People are like, I want people thinking that Brendan can, kick ass, make you drinks, mow your lawn.
You can make out with a movie star, essentially.
Can make out with it if you want. Is it wrong of me to buy my Brendan because I want to make out with it? Does that make me some sort of
no, actually, what if you built into the AI platform of a Brendan or a Brandina that if someone tried to make a sexual advance at them, they were smart enough and moral enough to be like, no, stay away from me, get away from me, and could like fight you and slap you really hard.
Sure.
Like, that's a potential thing. You want to change society a little bit? You don't build that into the Brandina and let the perverts go wild, and then we'll get rid of
this has gone as long as it has. I can't believe it. I like your mind is running wild. I only bring this up. Well, Mike has a note.
Yeah.
Isaac Asimov's 3 laws of robotics are a set of guidelines for how robots should behave. Oh, these are the 10 commandments of robots?
Essentially.
The 3. Yeah. What do you mean, Brendan? There's only 3 commandments in your world? First law. A robot cannot harm a human or allow harm to happen to a human through inaction. Oh, robot defends me, keeps me safe.
Yep, okay.
Second law. A robot must obey human orders unless those orders conflict with the first law. Ah, okay.
Okay.
Third law. A robot must protect its own existence unless that protection conflicts with the first or second law. A robot must protect its own existence unless that protection conflicts with the first or second law. The first law is can't harm any humans. So we're first,
right,
as a human, and then robot second.
I guess.
Yeah. Robot must, So in other words, Asimov's law.
Without us, it still has to protect itself.
Oh, without a human around, the robot must still protect itself. So that's a law from Isaac Asimov, the robot guy.
So does that mean like essentially like it protects itself around like a dog? I mean, how do animals factor into this against robots, Mr. Asimov?
This is getting so deep now. So wait a second, Mr. Asimov.
Question.
Does that mean we can't have intercourse with the robot? I don't understand how that would happen. Right. We'd figure out a way.
I'd corrupt it. Yeah.
Isn't that part of the second law or the third law?
Yeah. That's a scene in 50
of the robot.
That's a scene in 50 Brendans. The guy figures out how to like hack into Brendinas and turn them all into like sex crazed nymphomaniacs.
Dude, Bob Guccione and Flint they want you on their on your writer's notes, right? They're like, hire this guy right now. I like the way this guy thinks. He goes right there.
Sure.
No. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
That's fun. Robots. No.
Anything else going on in your life?
Well, if I had a robot, if I had a Brendan, it would, does it become a friend for
Like a dog?
Well, if there is a market for those, which eventually there will be, who gets them? Lonely people, right? I would think, right? Like people that, if you're in your 40s, right? Kids are out of the house, your spouse is not around, or you're a widow or something. Mm-hmm. And
you got to have money though. Brendans are like $70,000.
Well, they're going to be people on welfare.
They're financing them.
The government's going to start giving out Brendans.
Oh,
because it gets to know everything about you. Then does all your taxes for you. It does everything. It's like
selling your soul. It's like, here you go.
No, I think it's like an assisted living friend.
Oh,
Brendan. Okay. I like it. Would you like some tea and for me to change your diaper later, Paddy? Yes, Brendan, I would.
Yeah.
Also, while you're
throw
up,
some whiskey in that tea.
While you're up, go to that computer, delete the history, and then start the car. As your wish.
Yeah.
I think it's just me that I'm fantasizing about having, because when you're a single parent half the week like I am,
right?
There's so many more chores involved in upkeeping a house, right? Mm-hmm. And so, at times I'm like, I wish I had, and you get 2 kids, trying to get,
yeah.
I got to start getting,
cracking the whip.
Yeah. More chores around here. Let's go. But that's when you want a Brendan around, something like that. Do the laundry. Do the dishes.
Make me a sandwich.
Yeah. You're kind of a Roomba. The thing, it's always sweeping around. It's always cleaning things, And occasionally it tells you a joke.
A good one.
Or shows you its robotic genitalia of some kind.
Yeah.
Mr. Pat, have you ever seen my special parts? No, and I don't want to. Oh, come on. No. Just make dinner. Otherwise, I'm taking you back. I'm returning you. The warranty is old.
No, you got you just got pause buttons on it. You can just Brendan can be coming at you and just be like, boop.
Oh yeah, you can pause your bot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to hit a Brendan while it's paused?
You can hit anything you want. Are you allowed? Does the robot have strength to strike back? Because isn't that the law that it has to defend itself?
Yeah, that's
right.
So if you're gonna try to wig out on the robot, it's gonna crack you back maybe.
But what if it's paused on an order? That has to obey that robot. You know what I mean? And then you punch it.
Are we at the House Senate committee right now?
When you punched the Brendan,
tell me again. There's genitalia or there's no genitalia. It's a yes or no question.
Right.
Well, there kind of is. No, that's not what I asked you. When you guys created Brendan's, I want to know if it was in the metadata that you inserted into that thing's grid, if it had genitalia or not. Now, does it? No.
Well, it believes it does.
Right. I don't know. I'm so lost. Maybe, but everybody would
nuts.
Well, it's Brendan is just such a timely gift for not only St. Patrick's Day but Valentine's Day.
Right.
Can you imagine what the commercials for humanoids would be like? Just around, they never stop. There's just always a different. There's a Christmas version of this holiday season. Get yourself and the bot's making eggnog and it's got no pants on. It's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. It's cleaning up.
But how does you got to dress this thing? Does it wear the same clothes every day? Do they get smelly after a while?
There's going to be mechanics for guys just how there's auto mechanics. I'm sure eventually these are the new jobs that are being created by tech.
Oh, right. Okay.
Instead of being a mechanic on a car, you're going to be a robot mechanic for humanoid robots.
Yeah, but I'm asking about clothes. I'm not asking about the internal parts of a humanoid.
Do you have to dress the robot?
If it's going to feel like skin, right?
Oh, we
Like-
never really discussed
You know,
this.
I mean, we're talking
You
about
want it to
having private
really
parts.
like look like Vicky Small Wonder. Like,
Yes.
you want the robot to look like a human being.
That's the whole thing. People, you can't tell. Eventually, it turns into like the movie They Live. You can't
But
tell.
they're
if it was-
aliens and they live.
They're aliens and they live, but in this version of Brendan, they're,
I just think from a commercial standpoint that if once you try to make the robot look too human, people all of a sudden go, Can I have sex with that thing? You know, like,
yeah.
and it defeats the purpose of the fact that we're creating a robot to assist you with chores around the house. You know?
Well, they already have those, I think, don't they? In the adult world, aren't those real life sex things?
Yeah, they're at they're at all the tech conventions.
Right.
Look how I did that with my hand. They're all at the tech conventions. What the hell does that mean?
They're all over the country.
Yeah, they got the real life sex robots. They're all at them tech conventions. The hell?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
Do we want to get off the topic of Brendan? Like we could.
Well, you get rambling. It's so hard to get off topic. Oh, Mike even pointed me.
Wow, we just did 30 minutes on Brendan.
We gotta go. We gotta go to podcast land. We're
Yeah.
leaving radio land.
Yeah.
If you've been enjoying it, go to hibernianradio.org or follow us at iTunes at Hooley's Hooley Show or go to YouTube and find us there. We'll be back after this rip.
Yes.
Welcome back, Hooley's Hooley. Second half of the program.
Yeah.
That was a good simultaneous yes right there.
All right.
Must have been all that AI bot talk before the break.
Yeah.
Man, we went on a long tangent on that subject.
Welcome to Podcast Land.
My daughter's going away this weekend on a flight by herself. Makes me nervous whenever she does that. She's done this a couple times now.
Very independent.
As a kid, I mean, well, she's a teenager,
Right.
but her best friend's family's picking her up at the airport. But I still always get on edge about that, always. And that's basically what's running through my brain right now. She's going to her friend's quinceañera.
Yeah.
And she's like, I had no idea how big these are in the Hispanic
huge.
community, but huge. Get some water in you, Billy. Look at the size of that damn water bottle.
Yeah.
But she's like not like a best man. I don't know. It's not the best man, but she's like she gives a speech.
The best friend gives a speech, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. She gave her speech for me the other day.
Yeah. At the dinner table, I was there.
Yeah. I like how she always thrusts that stuff on me. Like, everybody stop and listen to this speech that I wrote. I go, okay. And,
Yeah.
And it's fun to listen to your kids when they give speeches. They're still, Charlotte's a phenomenal writer, but the thematic element, like the first two paragraphs of her speech were about how they became friends over watching Ariana Grande with Cat and what the heck, Sam and Cat, that TV show.
Yeah.
It's a Disney Channel show, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know much about it.
It was written by Brendan, the robot.
Yeah. Okay.
But like she was like, and then we used to watch Sam and Cat. And then when she came around, and I was like, no, Char, like leave. I don't know. Like I was like, how long is this speech supposed to be?
Yeah.
I was like, where are the jokes? Like
Turning into dad.
I'm like, you gotta get a joke in there. You gotta
Yeah.
get. I go, and the story about how you met and Sam and Cat, not relatable. People, maybe I don't know. Maybe the girls that age would understand.
maybe.
But I'm trying to like make it so everybody in the audience, you want to wow them a bit.
Right.
So I'm thinking about writing a speech for her tonight
All right.
when I get home. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's going to be about Brendan the robot and St. Patrick's Day. It would make no sense to whatever's happening for the quinceanera at all.
Yeah.
And just give it to Charlotte and go before she gets on the plane and go, here you go. I rewrote your speech for you. And I go, and so before you give your speech, read this speech and tell everyone in the audience that your dad wrote this speech for you.
Right.
Webster's defines friendship. That's the opening. Yeah, like a cheesy wedding speech. Like Webster's defines love.
Right.
Actually, that's something that is the prologue of maybe Brendan the film.
No.
That's the voice of Siri over that insane depiction of robot love,
A human love.
robot human love.
Yeah. What do they call it?
What?
What's the term for robot human love?
Is there a term for that?
Like that becomes a running theme throughout 50 Brendans. It's like a term that has to be used in the script.
There's a movement, the National Association of Robot Human Love. That's like a whole sect
They
of
fight
people.
for the rights of those people that, now we're getting just stupid.
Based on the story, it's a Pinocchio story that sparks an uprising with a group called the National Association of Robot Love.
Robot human love.
Robot Human Love. Back to the quinceañera my daughter's attending. Well, Mike had a note.
It's got something.
The term most commonly used to describe love between a human and a robot is robosexuality.
Oh, God.
Or robosexuality. Same thing. Did I say it differently? Which refers to sexual attraction towards robots. The study of the potential for human-robot love is sometimes called lovotics.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Robosexuality? Is that what it's called? Oh,
Yeah,
man.
robosexuality.
That'd be like a scene in 50 Brendan's, like a bartender. Guy's talking to a guy. What's going on in here? He goes, a lot of robot sexuality.
Look at these robosexuals.
Yeah.
It's like 10 guys with a bunch of other robot companions.
High school football coaches, we're playing a bunch of robosexuals today. Be on your A game.
I like that the high school football coaches of America are thrilled that you just threw them into the camp of like bigoted dumb guys.
And then, wait, what is the sex with them called?
Lovotics.
Lovotics.
It's the study of lovotics.
Yeah.
Wait.
Could you have 50 Brennans take place in Chicago? Where you got like
My
a Chicago
son
guy
is an
like
engineering
There were a
major.
lot of Lovotics going on around here, kids. Yeah.
You just wanted to say something like that in a Chicago accent,
Yeah.
didn't you? You know, it'd be fun to say lovotics. Kids are perverts. They're all lovotics.
We were on Belmont. A couple, there was some Lovotics going on over there. Had to take a collar for a few of those Brendans. We're writing the script.
I don't know what we're doing right now. We're just riffing so hard on robots tonight.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. You know, I saw something recently, and I looked it up. The term Pookie.
Yeah.
Did you know this? Like it's like like people are calling each other. It's like a term of like, my bae, my person, my
bae?
Pookie.
What's my bae? B-A-E?
I don't know. I think,
yeah.
it's like my boy or whatever. I don't know. I'm old, dude.
That's what you discovered, Pookie?
Yeah, but there
My
was something
Pookie?
on my phone, dude. I wanted to I wanted to talk about it because the definition of Pookie. If you look it up, you're like, what?
Yeah.
I think I saw something about like it was the Haktua girl.
Uh-huh.
I saw like a reel with her where she
Haley
was,
Welch is
where
her
she was
name.
like, oh, she asked somebody or somebody's interviewing her like, do you have a boyfriend? And she's like, I have a Pookie.
Oh.
And it's like, I guess like a friend, and maybe it could be it could be a boyfriend, it could be a situationship, someone that they're sexual with.
Wait, a situationship?
Yeah.
Is that what you just called
Yeah.
it? Is that
Yeah.
a thing?
Yeah.
We're in a situationship?
Very much.
Really?
Yeah,
I've never
it's-
heard that before.
It's when you're non-committed to being in like a full relationship where there's like not healthy boundaries, but there's an understanding that like there are dates.
And so it's
there's
acknowledged to be
sex
you're
involved.
in a situationship? Like, do people...
No, it's not really. People don't even sometimes realize that they're in them. Sometimes, and then other times they do.
Mike pulled it up.
It's about creating healthy boundaries.
It's a noun. A romantic or sexual relationship that is not considered to be formal or established. I'm trying to turn our situationship into something more serious.
Right.
Romantic or sexual relationship that is not considered to be formal or established. A situationship.
Right. You're not putting a definition on it. You're not putting anything like titles on it or anything like that.
It's the first I've ever heard the word. You obviously have you been Googling situationships? Like, what's it like to be in a...
just go down wormholes, man. Yeah. I mean, read about that crap. It's out there. Talk to people that are dating. See what's going on. You're not in the dating world or anything like that. So
Yeah, Mike has a note. I mean, situationship is that just a better term for friends with benefits?
essentially, sometimes it could be a little bit more in depth than that. There's an emotional connection within situationships. Usually the way it happens is that one person is emotionally tied to it more than another one. And when those boundaries are not communicated, it usually blows up. And or they come to a mutual understanding but somebody always usually leaves a little bit hurt by it. No, I've read about it. That's how I know about it. Yeah. Read about it, man.
Clearly. Billy's been reading Dr. Ruth books.
Self-help stuff, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You read all about that stuff. Creating boundaries, acknowledging different relationships, knowing what your self-awareness is within those. Yeah, man. All about building your mental health.
Because I think that, well, getting back to my idea about the humanoid bots.
Right.
That's the whole point of them existing. Like, you don't, instead of going to the internet and Googling things now, you'll be interacting with that robot going, hey, robot, what are we? We're a situationship. Oh, tell me more. What's that mean? Okay.
It means we're cool. We're friends. We have a good time together. Sometimes we have sex.
No.
I don't know. We go on dates. We share a lot of the same things that we love.
Wait a second, robot. How do you define sex? What is sex to you? Huh? What is a situationship? What do you mean? I thought we were in love. I paid 80 grand for you. How many domestics do you think happen with the robots?
The cops were like, yeah, we got to go down there. Brendan slapped another guy again.
No.
Brendina.
I would think it would be more like a human, like, you know, the humans would get mad at, but if robots can protect themselves,
right,
then that doesn't happen.
And they're really strong.
Like, you know.
So it's like, do you have any footage of him assaulting you? You
Like
know, and the Brendina's like, I have the videotape right here. Like, it's a button.
Oh, yeah,
it
like,
checks out, you know, and shows
like
the
RoboCop.
shows the drunk
memory.
human going nuts and demanding sex and all kinds of weird stuff before he gets knocked out.
I paid 80 grand for you. Yeah, I'm going to the bedroom getting my bat. But if you try to swing that bat at me.
But I suppose you could kill a. I mean, like, you know, if a guy went into a bedroom and just came out with a shotgun.
This is
like,
the craziest episode we've had in the longest time. You're like, if the guy went to, did you just say if the guy went to his bedroom and got a shotgun?
Yeah, you would be able to destroy the robot then, wouldn't you? With a shotgun, wouldn't that be able to just put a, you know?
Yeah, I would think. Hey, just blow the robot's arm off or something like that.
That'd be like a scene, you know, 100,000 unsolved Brendan and Brendina murders. You know, like serial numbers. Like, guys are like, I killed a Brendina out of anger. I got to get rid of the serial number.
I don't think you can't assault the robots. They're a lot of them are government property. Because if they're subsidized for like people,
but now
like,
we're not living. This is
living.
So this movie, there's no democracy in this movie. We're in some sort of a.
It's the future, dude. It's weird.
It's
like,
just,
you know, there's no rules here.
Yeah.
It's science fiction. Let's not forget it's also based on Pinocchio. Let's not get away from that.
Sure.
We've gone down this long wormhole. It's still a Pinocchio story at the end of the day, right? We got to get back to the.
Yeah.
You know.
Cool.
I see you sewed a patch on your jacket. Did the jacket come with the Chicago patch?
No,
or did you put
I
that
put
on
it on.
there?
I was like, oh, we'll give it some character. It's nice.
You've always been.
You want to know why I did this? I bought this jacket and I put it on and I ripped it like in the under area here.
Yes.
And in the back. It might be like a little bit, maybe just, it fits really snug, but it's obviously crappy quality. I mean, it was like a $40 jacket, you know? And I took it to the cleaners to get it fixed, and I saw this patch laying around, and I was like, oh, I'll put the patch on it. It'll look cooler. I like it. Yeah. So that's me, my own fashion guy.
No, you've always been into that. Like, it's always several, like it's either a shamrock patch or a Chicago flag patch. Mike has a great note. The jacket looks a little bit Chicago police authentic almost.
Does it?
Yeah, it kind of does.
Okay.
A little bit.
All right.
So maybe people think you're a policeman if you're walking down the street.
Well,
like,
I don't
no,
want to
think
impose
twice.
a police officer. That's not my job. But
Well, I like it. It looks good.
Oh,
We have to
thanks.
take a commercial break.
yeah.
More Hooley's Hooley after this. And we're back. Hooley's Hooley, final quarter of the program.
Yeah.
Crazy show.
Yeah.
Crazy show.
Yeah.
Bill, you were serenading us during the commercial break about situationships and all your knowledge behind why certain
Attachment disorders.
attachment disorder,
Just, not disorders, just attachment theory.
attachment theory.
Yeah.
And that's
So what are the three?
what are the three attachment theories?
Secured,
A secured attachment, I don't know what the other, like, I just know like the difference between like anxious avoidance, dismissive avoidance, secure people, disorganized, right?
They say secure, anxious, avoidant,
right,
and disorganized.
Right,
And those are all parts of the what theory?
Attachment, right. So we were talking about situationships. Oftentimes, people who suffer from either the same type of attachment style hook up with each other, they create crappy boundaries, and their communication gets blurred, and that's why it ends up awful. You know,
This is you went down a deep wormhole.
Jordan Peterson talks about it all the time.
Does he?
Man.
All right.
Yeah.
So like this is so interesting.
Yeah, I don't know where you've been on this.
I've been thinking about creating my Brendan, and if I'm going to need a Phillips head or a flathead, you know, this is
It's
what
stuff.
I'm thinking
It's a
about.
lot of stuff is talked about in therapy with people too. You know, because like. And I think it comes down to the fact that people, you know, the word narcissism is thrown around so much these days.
Yeah, 'cause of
Everyone's a
social
narcissist,
media.
right?
Sure.
You know, it has to be diagnosed. It's not like, you know, there's levels of narcissism. All people have some sort of a little bit to themselves. And then I think that people that get into these situationships,
Yeah.
or often because of their attachment styles and their lack of somewhat self-awareness about that attachment style, they create crappy boundaries, and it blows up, and people start thinking that the other person might be a narcissist, when in fact you might be you that you need to really self-reflect, or that person too.
Are these conversations that you've ever had with girlfriends? Attachment theory is a Micah's note. Attachment theory is a psychological theory that explains how people form emotional bonds with their caregivers and how these bonds affect future relationships.
Right, so it starts in childhood.
Yeah.
It starts in childhood. Yes.
Interesting. And so there can be attachment theory relevance to robots essentially as well, somewhere down the line.
Sure can.
You are not creating healthy boundaries with me, Billy.
Right.
My name is Brendan.
Yeah. I think that people that have anxious attachment style, they want like a Brendan that's like an anxious style like that. And they don't want someone who's going to create healthy boundaries.
Oh, like the guy who goes to the Brendan store and he goes,
that would be.
I want an anxious Brendan.
If the Brendan that created healthy boundaries with an anxious person, it wouldn't work because, you know, like they want their serotonin released immediately in anxious. That's how they operate. Usually, anxious attachment style are people that do compulsive things.
Yeah, thrill seekers,
drug addicts, alcoholics, all that stuff. You know,
the kind of guy who would buy a Brendan, the kind of guy who would
right. So
who would
when
venture out,
when we're building this and marketing him, we have to remember that probably we're gonna make a lot of money out of those anxious
that not
attachment
only
people.
because he's a big impulse buy. You know,
huge impulse buy.
You could sell like Brendans on the floor though, like in the gift shop at like the Wynn Hotel. You know, like a guy
You're
just
in Vegas everywhere.
Yeah, you just look, you know what? I won $200,000.
Yeah.
Now to avoid the taxes, I bought a Brendan and I wrote it off.
Oh, Mike's got a question for me. What kind of anxious attachment style am I?
What attachment theory are you? Oh, good question. Now you got to go deep. Now we're in a deep therapy session.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I really want to discuss it on the radio. To tell you the truth.
You don't know? Have you? So you've actually psychoanalyzed yourself and like thought
about it and been like, all right, what? Like, you know, you take a look back on how you've acted maybe in previous relationships, and everybody wants to learn from that, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to tell yourself, okay, if you want to date again, you have to date either with intention, or you have to date with. Or maybe just don't date at all, because, you know, it's like, what do you want to do here? What is your end game, right? If there is no end game, then you've got to create healthy boundaries and communication with the other person about what they're expecting out of right, like
and
this.
then if you don't, you wind up in a situation.
And then if you don't, you could wind up in a situationship where you might have, you know, like, I think that I can be sometimes.
Mike, you just pulled out the devil of Bill. Like, he's just like. He went right into therapy mode.
You know, but I don't want like people to listen to this and all of a sudden be like, I'll never go out with that guy. He's going to tell me about like what, you know. There's level. Everybody, I think, has certain levels of it all. I would have to talk to probably a therapist and see what they thought and what they would maybe want to diagnose me with, or say, hey, you know, like they'd have to listen to my stories about.
Do you want to be diagnosed? Do you crave?
I don't mind it.
Crave a diagnosis?
I'm a huge proponent of anybody that wants to go to therapy. I think after experiencing it myself, do it.
Yeah.
But it's all about what you want to get out of it, obviously, and how you go into it. But it does help you with creating better self-awareness and mental health. Yeah, like for sure. But like that's I was kind of more or less just like you want to grow as a person, right? Everyone's trying to grow. For me, it was about yes, losing weight and getting in shape, but it was also about like your mental health. Mm-hmm. How do I recognize things? Know your triggers. I think the key to it is to know your triggers in what anxious, like an anxious attachment style might be something that I might have. All right, that's the one I've kind of resonated with a little bit. Where you have to be able to recognize the triggers that set you off that anxiousness and be able to know like, oh, that here's it coming. It's coming. Be self-aware of the situation. No one's trying to, be mean to you or trying to, it's just like, it's all in your head, dude. Like, and you just have to be self-aware of those triggers and then you can really be better
Mike has a note. Everyone could use a little therapy. It's not a sign of weakness, but a sign of self-awareness and a desire to grow. Key points.
There you go.
Key points from Guy.
Yeah.
Dr. Bill Houlihan.
You're welcome.
Robot instructor, therapist, fashion designer.
Sure. Yeah.
Podcast host.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Mike's got something. That's the Super Bowl.
Oh, right.
He's like, before the show ends, who's the Super Bowl prediction?
Yeah.
Who do you like? I don't even know what the spread is right now. Is it like 3?
I haven't even looked.
I haven't looked. I haven't looked because I'm so disappointed in both teams. I didn't want either of those teams in the Super Bowl. I think most of the public.
What? I'm going with the Eagles. I don't want the Chiefs to three-peat.
No, I don't want them. No one does. I want the Eagles to win.
I want the Eagles to win.
I think if Saquon Barkley can get going on the ground, that the Eagles will win that game.
I'll take the Eagles
if they can control the clock.
Eagles by 5. How about that?
I'm going to say Eagles by 3.
Bill Wooten, you got a prediction?
Kansas City.
He's taking Kansas City just to be that guy.
Okay. He's probably going to be that guy and win, too.
Of course. That's how it always goes.
Yeah.
Well, I saw that there were, media day happened for
I
the
haven't
Super
been
Bowl.
following any of this. Yeah.
None of it. There's been a lot of most of the things that were getting in the press are people complaining to Mahomes and Kelsey about their flops and the refs being on their side. And so it's definitely people don't want the Chiefs to win this year. That's clear.
And Taylor.
Yeah. And we're going to get T-Swifted out, and people are sick of that. Like my son Mike was like, no way. I don't want T-Swift to win. T-Swift's going to win the Super Bowl again? No. Mm-hmm. I kind of agree with him. I want Brendan to win the Super Bowl. That's what I want.
Brendan's going to do a halftime show.
Halftime show by Brendan the Robot.
What kind of show?
Yeah, what kind of show is it, though?
What kind of attachment theory do you have?
Yeah.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
Sure.
Whatever, we're at the end.
Are we? We
Yeah.
still got a few minutes to go.
We got a couple
man.
minutes? Oh, shoot.
Yeah. You're getting
Oh,
all-
shoot. I didn't realize it. Oh, this Brendan talk. Oh, man. We got 5 minutes to go. Oh, this damn Brendan talk got me all rattled up.
Yeah, that'd be another thing, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but do people steal Brendans? How do you
In the future, like the human robots, do they get stolen? Or the
kidnapped,
the
I guess.
droids? Kidnapped?
If the Brendans as a robot can defend itself, they potentially probably couldn't get kidnapped.
I
right?
think that you can buy them based on tiers. So be like, how many gigs is your Brendan? And
if it's the crappy version, absolutely,
you have to
that
upgrade.
can get prone.
You got to upgrade to the Brendan 25,652 if you want, this much memory on it, and you want it to have a much more expansive, IQ.
Right.
So but people will be able to identify the good Brendans from the less intelligent Brendan.
And is that by making the Brendan a
They're
better
color coded, dude.
or hotter?
What?
Is one Brendan considered hotter than another Brendan by societal standards on the models and makes of them?
Sure. Well, wait a second. Wait.
He's got a Brendan C. The Brendan A is
It's
so
one
much
Brendan
cuter.
Hatter? Do you mean hot warm? No, I mean like, hot. Is one Brendan Hatter than the other Brendan? Like attractive?
Right.
I will have to see and look into that. We were thinking of just making one black and one white and one yellow and one green.
Yeah.
I'm an expert in Lovatics. And we'll get back to you. These are the kinds of questions we ponder all day.
Yeah.
I don't know why I made him an Indian guy. You know why I made him Indian?
Because that's what you get when you
Because
call on
that
the
damn
phone.
Fisher Stevens from Johnny Five was running around like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's why you think about a guy who's got a pet robot. That's what comes to your brain,
Right.
So it's part, so scratch it. It's part Pinocchio, part Short Circuit, part Terminator,
Yeah. Was
part,
Steve Gutenberg in Short Circuit?
part Dances with Wolves, and part My Left Foot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure.
It's a beautiful tale.
Was Gutenberg in Short Circuit? I think he was.
No, I don't think Gutenberg was in Short Circuit. Oh, yeah, he was.
Because I know he was in.
Gutenberg is in it, I think.
Or is he in.
Yeah, Mike, pull up the damn cast of Short Circuit. What the hell year was that?
Fisher Stevens.
Fisher Stevens, Ali Sheedy, right?
Houli, Gutenberg.
Gutenberg. And who played the voice of the robot? Was that Richard
Oh,
Harris?
G.W. Bailey.
G.W. Bailey. Okay.
Okay. What year did that come out?
1986.
1986. We're due. We're due
What
for
month
a
do we know?
reboot.
Because in January of 1986 is when the Bears won the Super Bowl for the last time. It's
true.
Oh, and by the way, Virginia McCaskey passed away.
The great Virginia. I had a lot of respect for Virginia.
Yeah.
God rest her soul. But yeah, an icon, NFL icon, 102 years old. Hell of a run. Now we're at the end.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. If you've enjoyed it, go to hibernianradio.org and find all the archives there. Go to iTunes and search for Hooley's Hooley Show, or go to Instagram and search for Hooley Twins, Hooley Twins.
Right.
Thank our sponsors, Flood Brothers, Fox's Pizza, Madden Funds. And until next week, bye.